This is the Invite Health Podcast, and I am Amanda Williams. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing metabolic detoxification. What in the world is metabolic detoxification? Why does it matter to our overall health and wellness? We're going to talk about all of that today. But before we get started, just a friendly reminder for you to subscribe to the Invite Health Podcast. You can leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. Remember that all of the information on today's episode will be linked in the episode description, and you can visit invitehealth.com/podcast for more information. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about metabolic detoxification. What is it? Why is it important to our overall health? And what can you be doing to help be supportive in your body's task of trying to rid the system of harmful toxins? So metabolic detoxification is basically the pathway by which the body processes unwanted chemicals for elimination. So we have all of these different things that we are exposed to in terms of environmental toxins, things that maybe we're getting from prescription medications, obviously different pesticides that we can find in foods. This is why it's always important to try and eat clean, organic foods that have not been modified, so non-GMO foods, ideally, at the same time trying to avoid anything that has been sprayed with harmful chemicals, because it's that excess buildup of all of this junk that can really screw up so much of our body's normal daily functioning. So we know that the body itself goes through a whole series of different phases in order to detoxify itself. And there are 3 different phases to metabolic detoxification. So we have phase 1. This is when we have this enzymatic transformation. And the purpose of this is to basically chemically transform compounds to make them easier for the body to actually remove. So through excretion. Then we have phase 2, which is this enzymatic conjugation. And the purpose of this is to further increase the water solubility and decrease the reactivity of the different things that are coming through phase 1. Then we have phase 3 of metabolic detoxification. And the purpose of this is to actually excrete out now all of these water-soluble compounds from the cells. Now, this is important because we have to go through all of these different phases each and every single day. The body has to be able to detoxify itself. Now, when we think about detox, for example, this has a very broad sense in terms of how people recognize detox. For some people in the world of health and wellness, you think of detox, you think of like a crash cleanse. But really, when we're talking about detoxification in the contents of human biochemistry, we are talking about a very precise series of events that occurs each and every single day so that the body can rid itself of all of these unwanted chemicals so that they are not building up. And when we look at the 2 primary secretory organs, we are thinking of the liver and the kidney. So those are our 2 primary organs when it comes to detoxification. We have all of these different things that we have to contend with in terms of our exposures. So we know, obviously, there's all of these different chemicals that we can find in health and beauty products, which is why I always say, if you're going to be using shampoos and lotions, make sure that they are clean, that they do not have parabens and sulfates and alcohols and all of those harmful chemicals in them. So we take a lot of pride in our formulas because they all have a green tea base. That's the natural base of all of our formulations is green tea. And then we have all of these other essential oils that really help to enhance the way that the body can handle those exposures because they're natural. So there's many different things that we have to be attuned to. We have to make sure that we are minimizing our exposure. Obviously, when it comes to environmental exposures and things coming from pollutants in the air, oftentimes if you live in a big city, sometimes it's hard to avoid those things. But that's why we want to make sure that we have extra nutrients on board to be able to help to support those secretory organs, both the liver and the kidney. So I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. But we obviously know that certain chemicals can build up in the body over time, creating damage. Now we can look at where they are coming from. Pesticides, residues from food processing. I had mentioned prescription drugs. Obviously, we know that we can get toxic heavy metal exposure, things like lead, mercury, arsenic, for example. These are all things that we know that we can have exposures to. But we also recognize that we can have microbial toxins that can build up too, coming from things like bacteria and fungus. So this is why we always have to give that extra helping hand when it comes to the way that the body detoxifies. This is critical to our overall existence. If we want to be able to sustain cellular longevity, then we have to make sure that we are doing the right things in terms of our diet, our lifestyle, as well as supplementation. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to tell you more about metabolic detoxification, the different phases, what happens in these different phases, and what we can be doing to help our body through this everyday process that occurs. Metabolic detoxification happens every single day to keep us healthy. So we will be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
Welcome back. Let's talk a little bit more about metabolic detoxification. So you have these 3 different steps or phases for removing these undesirable or harmful compounds that have built up in the system. So we have the transformation phase, we have the conjugation phase, we have that transport and elimination phase. So through these different phases, these are reliant on key enzymes, vitamins, antioxidants in the body. So we look at phase 1, detoxification, where you have this enzymatic transformation that occurs. So we're talking about having exposures to different chemicals and then having the liver have to contend with this. So we have these different enzymes that help the liver basically kind of filter through and say, okay, what is this? How do we break this down? And we also know that we have key endogenous antioxidants that assist in this, things such as glutathione, things such as superoxide dismutase, which are really critical when it comes to phase 1 detoxification. So there's many different enzymes that contribute to the phase 1 process, and we know that this is key in order for the body to start that breakdown. Then we get into phase 2 detoxification. This is where you have the enzymatic conjugation that actually occurs. And this is when you had the original, say, fat-soluble toxins that have been now converted into a more water-soluble and manageable form. Now, this takes time for this to occur, but we know that in phase 2, we have all of these different pathways and enzymes, once again, that are responsible for basically taking these harmful compounds and turning them into a very inactive state. So we have something known as NRF2, which is a master regulator of our antioxidant response in the body. So it's always key that our NRF2 is working at its finest. Now, this is reliant on many of our key detoxification molecules like glutathione, such as superoxide dismutase. We can even look at coenzyme Q10, this very important antioxidant. So all of these different things help with NRF2 activity. We also know that things from our foods, dietary intake of things like cruciferous vegetables that can yield sulforaphane from broccoli, from for example, very beneficial in that activation of NRF2. And that's what we want. We want to stimulate that antioxidant enzyme activity because this is going to be very beneficial in terms of overall detoxification. So we have all of these different things that are occurring. Then we look at phase 3. Detoxification. In phase 3, we have these different transporters that are present throughout the body, including the liver and the intestines, the kidney, where they help to provide this barrier against that buildup of these harmful toxins. So your phase 3 transporters help to basically drive all of these chemicals out of the system. All of this is important. We have to have balance between all of the different phases in order for things to work properly. Now, this oftentimes is just unbeknownst to people when I talk about metabolic detoxification. They're like, this happens every single day in the body? Yes, every single day. Now you can imagine if you're following a standard American diet and you have all these high processed foods with all these unknown chemicals that you can't even pronounce the name to, how in the world is your body supposed to keep up with this? So this is why it is so important to have organic foods, have a Mediterranean diet that you adhere to, so we can minimize the damaging effects of chemicals and free radicals in the body. And I cannot stress that enough. I mean, detoxification, this metabolic process for removing these unwanted compounds from our body. We do not want any of these environmental toxins to start building up. We have to support the liver from the breakdown of certain hormones in the body. We don't want those harmful hormone metabolites to build up. They can be detrimental to our health as well. So all of these things we need to be able to support each and every single day. Now you take someone who has fatty liver disease, for example. Well, now you're already compromising one of your main secretory organs. So this is why it's so advantageous to make sure that we're doing the right things. And we know that there are so many different key players to detoxification. When we look at methylation reactions, methylation is required for proper detoxification. If someone is a poor methylator, then your requirement for B vitamins is going to be even higher, and taking the activated B vitamins, methylfolate and methylcobalamin, are that much more important. But we know that the body requires this whole series of interaction of B1, B2, B3, B6, B12, folate, vitamin C, vitamin E. I mean, efficient phase 1 reaction requires all of these different micronutrients, these same micronutrients that we also need for the immune system to work properly. So when we try to discredit the importance of something like a multivitamin, and you hear people say that, you don't need a multivitamin, just eat healthy. We know that our foods are not as nutrient dense as they once used to be. So it really is quite critical that we take a good comprehensive multivitamin every single day, something like the core multivitamin, which is going to yield you all of those biologically active form of those vitamins and minerals. And when we're taking in minerals, having the chelated form of those minerals also helps to enhance the absorption rate of those minerals, which is going to help with those different phases of detoxification and at the same time help to support the immune system. So all of this is incredibly important. We can look at individual nutrients that we can add in, things such as NAC, N-acetylcysteine. We know that we need to have NAC for glutathione production. It's a fabulous free radical scavenger, and we know it's very beneficial for helping to fend off oxidative stress, especially in the setting of heavy metal exposure. We know that NAC is so powerful that that is what they utilize when someone has an acetaminophen toxicity. So if someone takes too much acetaminophen and their liver is going into acute liver failure, then what they give them is NAC to revive and thrive and allow for the liver to survive. So this is all so important. We can look at nutrients like milk thistle, this very powerful plant-based herb that has all of these polyphenolic compounds in it, including silymarin. And silymarin helps to promote proper detoxification. helping to enhance glutathione levels. So we know all of these different things can be beneficial, but we know that we have control over a lot of this when it comes to our dietary intake and what we should be eating every day. Remember, that's the first place that we can make that impact. So I'm going to talk about healthy diet, then I'm going to tell you about a really cool product that contains all of these different nutrients that help the daily detoxification process and helps to support both the liver and the kidney. But we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
And welcome back. So when it comes to diet, we know following a Mediterranean diet that is going to contain your fruits and your vegetables containing all of these wonderful vitamins and minerals and antioxidants is your best choice. We know that the fibers contained within a Mediterranean diet coming from those fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds help to promote a healthier microbial environment within the intestines. Anytime that we can support proper detoxification and proper intestinal immune health, we are doing right by our body. So let's talk a little bit about what you can be doing. So following that healthy diet, first and foremost, because you are what you eat. We can go back to Hippocrates and let food be thy medicine. But we know that when it comes to the process of metabolic detoxification, especially as we get older, oftentimes we need to give a little extra helping hand. So we have a formulation and it is called Daily Detox Powder. This is a wonderful blend of some really powerful nutrients that help to enhance the way that your body goes through these phases of detoxification. So it contains milk thistle. It has ellagic acid coming from pomegranate extract. It has dandelion root extract. Now this is really nice because dandelion root extract in a way is its own unique little superfood because it's packed with vitamins and minerals that help to support detoxification. We also know that dandelion root extract is very beneficial when it comes to maintaining proper fluid balance in the body. This also contains NAC, so N-acetylcysteine, which helps to promote glutathione production in the body. Remember, NAC, that is what they utilize if someone's in acute liver failure. It has chlorella in it. Now, chlorella is an algae. Now, this is super cool when you think about this because the chlorella naturally tries to keep the water filtered and clean. But we also know chlorella in its own right is kind of like a superfood because it's packed with vitamins and minerals and even essential fatty acids. So once again, helping those three different phases of detoxification. We know that chlorella specifically is very targeted towards heavy metals. So when we have those concerns from exposure to environmental heavy metals, or maybe heavy metals that we're exposed to from our food sources, things like arsenic, for example, then having chlorella on board as part of a daily supplement, very beneficial. It has EGCG coming from green tea extract. And we know the powerful impact of EGCG, that's epigallocatechin gallate, one of the most powerful antioxidants that we know of. When it comes to scientific research, EGCG is hands down so incredibly impressive when we look at the way that it plays a role in not only fending off free radicals, and oxidative stress, but when we recognize how it's actually working in terms of down-regulating an overactive inflammatory response in the body. But the key to this formulation is when we look at the nutrients, including methionine and glycine and MSM, and just how beneficial these can be. When we look at something like dimethylglycine, for example, we know that dimethylglycine has a lot of immunomodulating properties to it. We also know that dimethylglycine is a precursor in the body, once again, for that production of glutathione. So this particular formulation contains methionine, but it also contains glycine. So this is beneficial on a couple of different fronts. We know that we have all of these antioxidants, the ellagic acid from pomegranate, we have that milk thistle in this, we have glycine, which also helps to stabilize our glutathione levels, and our other endogenous antioxidants. So by utilizing 1 scoop a day of the daily detox powder, what we are doing is we are helping to enhance those 3 different phases of metabolic detoxification. We need to be able to neutralize and remove harmful chemicals. Now, some of those chemicals we are breathing in. Some of those chemicals we are ingesting via our food. Some of those chemicals are made within the body. But no matter where they are coming from, we have to make sure that we have the ability to properly detoxify. And by having all of these different polyphenols coming from these plant-based nutrients, it really leads to healthier support for both the liver as well as for the kidney. So don't forget this, that this is something that occurs each and every single day in the body. And we don't want to just sweep it under the rug and presume that it's going to function correctly, especially if we haven't been taking in adequate amounts of antioxidants from our diet, and we are not helping to restore antioxidants that are lost over time due to stress, due to injury, due to illness. So this is all very key to our overall wellness. So daily detox powder, wonderful formulation. I encourage you to definitely check this out. When it comes to your health, you have to be your own best health advocate. I always stress that. I want people to be able to know more about how their body is physiologically working, and then give you the tools to be able to manage your health in a much more efficient way. So that is all that I have for you for today on metabolic detoxification. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Invite Health podcast. Remember, you can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to podcasts or by visiting invitehealth.com/podcast. Make sure that you subscribe. You can leave us a review. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. And we will see you next time for another episode of the Invite Health podcast.